Welcome to another episode of React tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to learn about use callback hook. We all know what is a callback, right? Suppose I have one parent component and one child component, and in child component you have a button. Now on click of that button, we want to do something, but we don't want to handle it in the child. We want to handle the on click handler in the parent. Then what will you do? That is the time when you want to pass a callback from parent to child. How are we going to do that? We're going to pass on click as a prop, and I'm going to add one callback here. This is a callback function, not doing anything special. I'm going to alert that it's clicked, and here in the child component I can get that I will get that callback as a prop, and then I'm going to use that here. Okay, it is a TypeScript, so I need some type definition here. I'll just call any here. Now if I click on the button, I'm getting the alert. So this is a callback. This is a simple function that I'm passing from parent to child. Now suppose you want to repeat this child component. So instead of once, we're adding it 2 times. Now you can see that I'm also repeating this callback, but it's not doing anything special. So what will you do for this? You'll just use one constant over here, and then you create the callback. Like I'm calling it on click. This is the function name, and that is not doing anything special. It is just going to alert to add some alert. And here in child components on click, I'm going to pass that on click function. Return type will be void. All right, if I click on the button, it's clicked. Now can you see a problem here? If we render this parent component multiple times, we're going to create this on click handler multiple times. So that is not required. We can cache this. So in previous video we have learned about use memo, right? We can use memo here, or we can use callback that is provided by React. This is almost same. You can use memo also, but just for callbacks, React is providing this hook called use callback. That is used specifically for callbacks. So what we can do here is you can use this use callback hook to create your callback. I will also alert here, alert clicked, and to return the callback function on click. Now use callback hook accepts two parameters. First one is the callback, and the second one is the dependency array. It is almost same as use memo. So in the dependency array, so if your callback function is dependent on some variables, some state, then you can add that dependency in this array. So the thing is, if any of the dependency changes, then the callback function will be regenerated. So that's the thing. Now if I check if it is working or not, it is working fine. Okay, now you can argue that it is not actually saving a lot of compute power or some memory, right? You can have very simple functions, and regenerating the functions multiple times is not that bad. But think of this scenario. Suppose your child component is a complex one, okay, and you have React memo in it. We have learned about memo in last tutorial, in last episode. So suppose this component is a pure component. We have this memo. Now we have also discussed that if you use a memoist component like this, and if you pass a different props, then the memoization fails. So suppose I'm not using any use callback over here. I'm just using a simple function. So what happens here is every time you render this parent component, you're creating a new function, right? You're creating a new callback, and your child component, you are passing that newly created callback. That means the props are changing every time. Then what happens? This memo you are using in the child component, this memo has no use here, because every time when you are rendering the child component, you are creating a new function and passing that as a props. So to avoid that, we need to use this use callback. So this use callback will return the cached on click handler, and then if you pass this on click handler over here, the props will not change. That means React will be able to use the memorization, use the cached version of component. So whatever I have told, if you want to test that, you can do that. Like I'll add some logging here. The child component, I will add some logging, console log, rendering child, and the parent I can use rendering parent, and the parent I can add one button called re-render parent. To force re-render the parent, I'm going to add some state, and I'm going to change the state. So I'm just adding one simple integer state, and on click of this re-render button, I'm going to change the state. Now you can see I have added this re-render parent and re-render, and if I click on this re-render parent, I'm rendering the parent, but I'm not rendering the child components because I'm using this use callback and use memo. Now if you remove this use callback here, see what happens. Every time when I'm rendering this component, rendering this parent component, I'm regenerating this on-click handler, and then I'm passing that updated on-click handler, and that's why React will not be able to use this memorization. It will not be able to use the cached version of child component. Now see what happens. If I click on re-render parent, I'm rendering the parent and I'm also rendering the child, right? So this is one perfect use case of using the use callback hook. So in general, if you're creating a callback function and you are passing that in a child component, you should always use the use callback hook to generate the function. Alright, that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please hit like, and if you have any questions or any comments, you can ask me in the comment section. I will try to answer them. And if you're liking the series, you can consider subscribing. That is going to help me a lot, and it is going to encourage me creating more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.